If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today, guys, for me, September 1st has rolled around. We're now in what, the second week of September? It is officially fall. Is it warm outside? Yes. Am I sweating a little bit? Yes. But it is fall. It is fall. It is meteorological fall despite the warm temps. And I am ready to wear fall makeup, to talk about fall makeup. And I want to talk about my favorite fall lipsticks. Because you know how it is when it gets a little cool outside. The vibe for the lips is just a little bit different. I tend to go a little bit darker. I tend to go a little funkier. So yeah, let's get into it. Of my favorite Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that I tend to reach for the most during the fall season. So I have here Velvet Jazz, and look at this, look how pretty this is. Look how stunning that is. I mean, so pretty. I'll swatch it on my hand. I already have lipstick on, so I'm not gonna do lip swatches today because it's just that's a bit much. So look at this beautiful, like, rich berry. It's so perfect for fall, in my opinion. Like, it's sort of rides that line of being bright but having that rich, you know, the berry tones that everyone loves in the fall and in the spring. This is like the perfect deep rich berry. And then next up is Myth, which is similar but not the same, and I will swatch this one for you. And this one, I would say of the two, this one is a little bit, as you can see, a little more muted, a little deeper. I tend to reach for this one more. I tend to reach for Velvet Jazz more, but Myth is a really good sort of mid-range because there's a shade that's right after this. I forget what it's called. I think it's Ribbon, and that is her True Red, I believe. And for me, this is sort of like the marriage between Ribbon and Jazz. You kind of get this, and it's, as you can see, it's a bit more purple. It's a bit duskier. It's just a nice little similar but not the same version of Myth. And when I want something I want something deep but not too pinky in undertone, this is the one that I would reach for. And next up, and finally in the little trio here that I want to show you, is the color that she came out with last fall. She came up with, I think, 3 or 4 new shades in her Velvet range, and this is Velvet Cinnabar. And I've talked about how much I love Velvet Dragon. That Velvet Dragon is like my favorite Lisa Eldridge shade, because it is. But Cinnabar gives it a run for its money, because Cinnabar to me, and this is Cinnabar, is like if you took Velvet Dragon and just threw a little dirt on her, just made give a little dustiness, you know. It's deeper. It's just sort of like the fall version of Velvet Dragon, and it reads very rich, deep, burnt orange on my lips, which I love. This is, I would say, of the 3, this is probably the one that I in the fall was wearing the most last fall, and that I'm really excited to wear this fall, is Cinnabar. Next up is one of my Gucci lipsticks. It's the only matte Gucci lipstick that I have, and it is the shade Tasty Hazel. I love fall for like when you can really bust out your like deep rich chocolate tones. This is one of those for me, and let me swatch her for you. And she looks like that. And what I love about this particular brown, and you can kind of see it here, is that it's brown, but do you see how sort of muted it is? It's almost purple in undertone. It's got this velvet texture to it when it's on the lips. The Gucci mattes, I'm privy to the Gucci satins. Like I'm very like in love with the Gucci satins, but the Gucci matte lipsticks are actually really, really good, and the formula is very sort of velvety on the lips. So when I wear this, my lips look flawless, and then there's just like this beautiful tone to them. And if I can find a picture just so you guys can see it, because I feel like my hand swatch here doesn't do this particular shade justice, but it's such a stunning deep but dusky brown. Pull out my favorite chocolate liquid lipstick, and that is Chocolate Wasted from Dose of Colors. And this is one of those shades that is like always out of stock. It took me forever to get my hands on this shade because every time I would go to buy it, it was out of stock. But it is a stunning, and you can kind of see the difference here. So, okay, so I'll put my hand back. This is Chocolate Wasted and this is Tasty Hazel. And do you see the difference here? How Chocolate Wasted is a true rich milk chocolate tone, and Tasty Hazel has a little bit of purple to it, a little bit of gray, a little bit of cool toneness to it that gives it such a unique vibe. So as you can see, like these are two browns and they're very different, and that's what I love about them. For me, I can justify owning these two shades at the same time because they're so different. The other Dose of Color shade that I really love in the fall is the shade Plum Queen, and I'm going to swatch this here on this side of my hand. And this is her here. And it looks quite purple in tone, which it is, but when it dries down, it has this sort of, you can kind of see it in the tube, and I have the older bottle, but you can kind of see that it kind of dries down. Even though this is frosted, this is pretty representative of what it looks like when it dries down. It's just kind of like almost like a purple, like a mauve, it's really a rich mauve, dusky mauve when it dries down, which I love. And it's a great way to be able to wear sort of like pinkier tones in the fall. Like for me, if I'm wearing pink, most of the lipsticks that I own that are pink are very like hot pink, fuchsia pink, because that just tends to be what I feel looks the best on me. If I'm gonna go pink, I go pink. I don't tend to go for like the mid-tone and the mid-range type of pinks, and this kind of allows me to do that because it's more purple than pink. And finally, out of the little trio of Dose of Colors, I have my shade Mood, which is one of my all-time favorite Dose of Color shades. And it is here. And do you see how it's very similar to Plum Queen, but it's just duskier. Do you see? It's more purple than even Plum Queen, even though Plum Queen has quite that like purpley mauve tone. Mood is like that turned up, like two notches, you know? So stunning. I love both of these. I use them, I mean, I love them equally. I will say I think I probably reach for Mood more simply because it dries down a little deeper. And I really love the vibe of that, you know, it kind of gives me that like purple lip, but not. But yeah, I love both of these shades, so stunning. I mentioned this one in my top 3 in every category for lips, and I stand by that, and I'm gonna swatch it here again so you can see why I love it so much. So this is Bellagant Cosmetics. This is their liquid lipstick in Cider Sangria, and this is it here. Do you see that? Do you see? Oh, it's such a stunning shade. Oh, so beautiful. I love it so much. It's so fun. It's so pretty. Whenever I wear it, I get tons and tons of compliments. It's just one of those shades that catches people's eye, and it actually looks really good. When you look at it in the tube and the bottle, and when you look at it when you first apply it, it might be kind of intimidating, but it dries down to this really beautiful sort of like mustardy brown yellowy tone that I dig, you know. It's totally my jam. And the next shade that I'm going to talk about, which is the Give Me Glow Cosmetics shade Whiskey and Honey, is very similar. You could even say they're dupes of each other, but you can see the difference here that Whiskey and Honey is a tad deeper. So this is Whiskey and Honey and this is Cider Sangria. I love them both. I get compliments when I wear both. I love both of these shades. Whiskey and Honey is probably, if not the most popular, one of the most popular shades that Give Me Glow does. They reformulated. I have the old formulation. I wanted to purchase the new one, but it sold out, which is what I was gonna say. This shade sells out quite a bit because, I mean, look at it. Why wouldn't it? It's so cool, you know? It's such a fun shade. Yeah, and I would say formula-wise, these two are probably my least favorite as far as formula, because at least the old formulation for Give Me Glow, I haven't tried the newer one, but they're both Bellagant and this iteration of the Give Me Glow formula are both quite thin, and so they can be quite thin on the lips and feel a little bit drying. The dose of colors are a bit thicker, a little bit smoother. They have a bit more body, and they're just a bit more comfortable on the lips overall. But I mean, I still wear these because they're wearable. They're not like painful on the lips or anything like that. And I just, even if they were, I'd probably wear them anyway because I love these tones so much. I have a few shades from Lime Crime. Now, I've talked about Lime Crime in the past, their velveteens, and how they're not my favorite formula, and they're not, but the shades, guys, the shades are some of my faves, and so I put up with the formula because I love the shades. So I'm going to show them to you because, again, these are shades that I reach for. I'm a little strategic when I wear these. For me, the velvets don't last as long on my lips as they do for other people. I feel like they peel quite easily. So this is what I'm going for, a matte vibe, but it's a matte vibe that I'm fine with fixing and reapplying, or that I'm not going to be wearing for very long. So first up is the shade Salem, and again, you can see the difference here. So this is a brown, this is Chocolate Wasted from Cork, this is Tasty Hazel Gucci, and this is Salem from Lime Crime. And can you see the difference in the tones here? That's what I love about chocolate shades and like dark brown shades, is that you can get a nice range of tones that can suit your skin tone or your preferences. And for me, these are also different. Like this one is not quite as rich as Chocolate Wasted, but it's like not as cool toned as Tasty Hazel. It's kind of right in the middle. Such a beautiful, beautiful shade. Next up is the shade Nightshade from Lime Crime, and we're getting down to the... So as you can see, this is like a deep, dark purple. I mean, it's like black almost, but not black. And I love shades like that. I think if you're someone who is afraid of black lipstick, I love black lipstick. I have 2 black liquid lipsticks. I don't wear them very often though, but I do love them. But I say 2 shades that I think that you can try if you are afraid of black, but you want that vibe, are dark chocolates like this, and then dark, rich purples like that, because it gives that same starkness, that same sort of vibe, but you get a little bit of color. And I think I would recommend these for people who are incredibly pale, because black can kind of suck all of the light, you know, like it can make you look even more pale. Something like this shade, like Nightshade, is a great option, and I just love it because I just think it's really pretty and it's really cool. And then we have the shade Wicked. This one, it's more of like that traditional, what I call traditional, like the traditional like fall, like deep rich burgundy. So this is it here, and I think it's beautiful. It's just like that rich, deep, almost like burnt red. That's a great, or like deep rose red. Love it. So stunning. And this again is another option if you are wanting that vibe of a dark black lipstick, but you don't want to wear black. There are so many shades, if you just get them in deep rich tones, can give you that same vibe. And I think a shade like, I think this, what is this called, Saint? Yeah, this Saint is it's a good option. And then finally we have, or did I say Wicked? What did I pick? No, I was right. Wicked and Saint are, I get these mixed up all the time because they're so similar in tone. And you'll see what I mean. Do you see what I mean? They're so similar, but they're not the same. So beautiful. I love both of these shades. And this one just has a little more brown to it. It's just chocolatier. Chocolatier. That's not a word, but we'll go with that. It's just got a bit of more brown to it. That's it. It's just got a bit more brown. And for me, it's like a hybrid of if you took like, you know, this shade, this burgundy shade, and mix it with a little bit of Salem, it kind of gives you the same vibe as that one would give you. So yeah, I say if you've tried the Lime Crime Velveteens and you like the formula, I say go for it with their shades. I think their shade range is stunning as far as like really good, deep, rich tones. The formula is just not my fave, but I hold on to my Velveteens because I love the shades. All right, guys, and that is everything. Those are all the lipsticks that I reach for during the fall season. Let me know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite fall lipstick shades. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.